Hello, and thank you so much for joining us on another episode of. To be honest with you, I forgot the name, so apologize, but I believe it is Worldwide Anonymous news. Okay, and so what I'm going to be doing is, yes, I'm going to bring you stories that you haven't heard about. Yes, I am also going to bring you stories from, the left side of perspective things, independent perspective of things, and the right perspective of things. And what I really want everyone to keep in mind with the news is the news is just like real life. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that in real life, we have to, you know, we don't take everybody's word for it. We have to realize that people have sort of a framework or they have a bias that they're operating from. And when they're telling a story, then they are going to most likely use that bias, right? So, logic, critical thinking, digging into to what is actually the fact as opposed to what we want the truth to be is what we do here. And so, anyway, I don't mean to be yelling at you. I'm very, very grateful that you're watching this. What I'm going to share with you in today's video is if you've never heard of this gentleman, his name is Dr. Steve Turley. I love him for news. I love him for little news clips and so on and there, so forth. He is great. Okay. And so I'm just going to play a little clip here and then we're going to talk about this Southwest caves. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to play just a clip of it. Another real quick before that, if you haven't heard about the Let's Go Brandon, phenomenon, then look into it. Let's Go Brandon. Okay, you don't need to look into it. I'll tell you here. It is the PG version of F Joe Biden. So when you hear Let's Go Brandon, that is people chanting F Joe Biden. So here they go.
Let's go, Brandon! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Let's go, Brandon is right. These protesters in front of Southwest Airlines corporate headquarters just got their wish. The company has caved on putting their unvaxxed employees on unpaid leave. In this video, we're going to take a look at how Southwest has walked back on their draconian requirements. We're going to see how it's all part of an even larger uprising against vax mandates going on all over the world. And stick with me to the very end of this video where I'll show you why that uprising is just so you can feel better.
Okay, I'm stopping there. This is Dr. Steve Turley, so you can recognize him. I highly recommend his channel. I will tell you, he is not perfect, and that is because he is human. So whether we are, upset with this particular group or that particular group or this particular group over here, I'll speak for myself. I need to remember that I am human and I make mistakes also. Okay, but that's not the purpose of the news. The purpose of the news is to actually share the truth so that we can be informed. There is a lot of disinformation, misinformation, and regular old plain old information out there. Okay, so it's our jobs to sift through it and actually find out what is the truth. And it does take work. Um, so if you had heard Southwest, the airline company, has had a rough few weeks or maybe week, I don't know exactly. They basically told all of their employees if you don't get vaccinated that you are going on unpaid leave, which is what it says right here. Now, apparently they have canceled that. I have not looked into see whether or not that's the truth. Okay, that's not necessarily the goal of this newscast in particular. This newscast is to expose you to Dr. Steve Turley. To touch on this, I would recommend that you look into whether or not Southwest did actually cave, because even though I like Dr. Steve, I'll say I love him. The content that he puts out is very unique. This is sort of some of the more mainstream stuff that he shares, but he will give you a lot of stuff that you don't see in other places. But even with that being said, I am not going to, me personally, trust everything he says, because I don't, because I, recommend doing research. So that is it for today's video. Okay. Check him out. Tell me what you think in the comments. And so here we go. This was the plan. Southwest Airlines will require COVID vaccinations for employees. And what I had heard, I haven't checked this out, is that a lot of flights were canceled. Like it was a severely large amount. Okay, and so apparently they are rolling that plan back, which is good. I personally am not going to fly Southwest ever, for a few reasons. One of those is, their stance that they took here.
Back
This,
on their
in my opinion, is un-American. Okay, and it is infringing upon freedoms. That is my opinion. Okay, and secondly, I don't want to be stranded if this happens again, at some airport for like 3 days, right? And I'm not saying that is what happened. Okay, so that again is totally my opinion. Please keep all of this, everything I say, as unfact checked opinion. Okay, so I'm not going to go into legalities. My goal here is to share stories with you, to point you in the direction. So now that you've looked at Steve Turley's stance on this story, I would recommend go to the exact opposite, which I'm not, 1,000% that Steve Turley is exact opposite of CNN, but go look at it there, right? And then maybe go look at the story on Fox. Okay. Now, so Fox would be the right, Steve Turley would be the independent, and CNN would be the left, right? What's important is that we are aware